I went to Harvard for undergrad, Yale for medical school, and did residency at Harvard again. You'd think with this, I'd have the perfect life, right? Success by all measures. Truth is, I regret everything. If I could, I'd go back in time and start all over again. Literally do everything completely differently. This is the story of what I would have done instead. First regret is this, being an incredibly late bloomer. I was the chump who did his crush's homework thinking this was how you seduced women. You could actually describe my first kiss as me anxiously smashing my head into a wall, except the wall was actually the girl's face. In the 0.1 milliseconds of actual contact, I distinctly remember her lips were as stiff as a cardboard box. Even so, I drove away from her house that day, the happiest dude alive, pumping my fists in the air, blasting You by Lloyd at full volume all the way home. Thinking this was the start of many more kisses to come, I asked my friend if she had any tips, only to be told to practice on a balloon. Just draw some eyes and some lips, you said. You'll be good, you said. Newsflash, that did not work, Raina. In my time of need, you let me down. Point is, I was naive, the main theme of this first regret. Not just with girls, but with life in general. I thought getting into Harvard would solve all of life's problems. But like a dog who finally catches the mailman, I had no clue what to do next. Do I eat him now, or do I become the mailman? Second regret is exactly that, having no clue on what I'm supposed to do in life. I wish my younger self had a clear vision besides just get into Harvard. You know, like become a Navy SEAL sniper, medical doctor, astronaut who actually also went to Harvard. Yeah, he's a real dude. Look him up. Or at the very least, I could have chased something more useful, like make a crap ton of money, or become the best kisser in the world. Either way, this is what I would have told my younger self. Stop wasting time looking good and actually focus on being good. Think of it this way. No one cares if you're the president of the kissing club or the fact you've written 5 books on the subject if when the time comes to kiss a girl, you actually suck at it. To build real substance, I spend time honing what I call the hard skills bucket and the soft skills bucket. Hard skills are tangible skill sets that command a reliable and relatively high market wage. Everyone needs a hard skill under their belt because this is going to be the default job you can always fall back on. You know, no matter what happens, you'll always have a way to make money and do something that commands more than just minimum wage. The harder the hard skill is, the more special you become and the more leverage you have in the marketplace. Of course, this is where most people go wrong. They say, okay then, game plan is to then pick the hardest hard skill there is. And then they spend the next 20 years of their life doggedly training to be a neurosurgeon or a rocket scientist, only to realize they either hate the job or they hate the lack of control that comes with the job. Because here's the sobering fact very few people realize. No matter how many skills you acquire, no matter how specialized you become, it's still just a job and you're still just a cog in a machine controlled by someone else who has no idea how to do your job and yet can still replace you at any time. And that's how you get golden handcuffed to a job you hate, working for some person you don't respect. And because it's too late to pivot and the sunk cost too great to ignore, you do nothing about it except be the obedient worker they want until retirement. That's how you breed regret and resentment. That's why this neurosurgeon is now unemployed and camping in the woods instead. Actually, that looks pretty sweet. Gosh darn it, I should have done that. So, would I have done medicine and become a doctor if I could start over? Heck no. I tell my younger self to do anything but that. Maybe become a garbage man for a few years, start an OnlyFans account, and then leverage that to become the next Kim Kardashian or something. Of course, if we were all immortal, picking the hardest, biggest barrier to entry hard skill there is, like becoming a brain surgeon, would be a good investment of time. But sadly, we are all going to die. So what should you do instead? I like to think about it using the Goldilocks principle. If it's too easy and there's no barrier to entry, your wage will be crap. Think, if the old lady with rheumatoid arthritis down the street can be trained in a week to do your job, you probably need to rethink your career trajectory. On the other hand, if it's too hard or takes up too much time, you'll probably get crushed by debt or burn out by the time you get there. Instead of spending 16 years developing the most narrow technical skill set a human being could ever develop, i.e. brain surgery, why not pick a hard skill you can learn in just a few years and focus the majority of your time mastering the most important and most applicable skill set out there, a skill set that arguably gives you the highest return on investment on time possible. That's right. That's the soft skill bucket. Soft skills are people skills that aren't explicitly taught. Things like emotional intelligence, kissing girls, public speaking, not being needy, self-compassion. The list is a million miles long. It's the kind of stuff you can't really put on a resume, but it's just as important, if not more, for career success, maybe even for life quality in general. Soft skills are how you get promoted, how you win over the love of your life, and how you ultimately live a fulfilling life filled with meaningful personal relationships. I failed to focus on this at all. I didn't even know this was a thing to focus on. This is probably my biggest regret at Harvard because it's not the classes you're paying for. It's not even the professors. It's your classmates. It's so obvious in retrospect. It's almost cliche to say it now, but there truly was a lot of cool people there. Smart people, kind people, interesting people, people that would have blown my mind with their life experiences and perspectives. I should have invested more time in these relationships, to sit with as many people as possible and to actually connect, because lifelong friends take time and investment to build. It's like compound interest. The earlier you start, the larger the rewards. It was Sahil Bloom that asked, what does your ideal day look like at age 80? Your ideal day is probably sitting with the people you love, thinking about things that you care about with an amazing group of friends who care about you too. That feels nice, doesn't it? It feels nice because the feeling of connection is universal. The Harvard study of adult development studied 2,000 participants over 85 years, and they found the single greatest predictor of a good life was the strength of your relationships. And even more so, the single greatest predictor of physical health at age 80 was your relationship satisfaction at age 50. This was even more impactful than whether you smoked or drank or whether you had high blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart disease. I mean, wow. If someone had told me all this when I was a kid, I would have gone about things way differently, because you definitely don't need an Ivy League education for any of that, right? There's probably hundreds of people you've lost touch with, friends you haven't talked to in ages, family members you take for granted. How many more chances do you get to see them? If you see someone just once a year and they're already in their 70s, the amount of separate occasions you have left with them is something you can probably count with just a few fingers. That's scary. And so, this is what I would have told my younger self. You're way too insecure, narrow-mindedly focused on trying to look cool, climbing some imagined social ladder that doesn't exist. Stop climbing and just relax. Go explore, get out of your comfort zone. Go do that extracurricular event, activity, or club you didn't even know existed. If you just chilled out a bit, you probably would have looked less desperate, and then ironically, more people would have actually wanted to be your friend. Some of these people may even have helped you get better at kissing, if you know what I mean. To make a real friend, you simply have to do 3 things. Connect with them, have fun with them, and spend time with them. How do you connect with someone? By being vulnerable. Make them feel safe by revealing your underbelly, and in due time, they'll reveal theirs. Crafting this macho, cool guy who dances persona gets you noticed, I guess, but it really doesn't do much else. I made a bunch of dance friends at Harvard, but a lot of them ended up being pretty superficial relationships. It's no wonder why I've always felt a deep sense of loneliness. I think that's probably why the default method of socialization is to drink, to get wasted, to black out. It's really to forget the loneliness we all probably feel deep down inside. We're all stuck on our own me islands, hang out by ourselves, hoping someone will eventually be brave enough to come visit. You could leave, and you could swim to someone else's island yourself, but you don't, because you're either too scared or you're too proud. And so, you wait. Unfortunately, some people end up waiting their entire lives. Outside a few lucky friendships I did accidentally manage to make, I don't keep in touch with the vast majority of my classmates. And that's too bad. Good news is, it's never too late to be intentional, to look at all the people around you in your life and to ask, how are you? No, I mean, really, how are you? And then really listen when they tell you. It's really as simple as that. I made 2 more videos on the subject here. Learning how to be comfortable in your own skin is probably the biggest investment you could ever make in the journey of self-development. Until next time, my friends, smell you later.